Hi math students! This is our introduction video for our lesson on multiplication and area, the first lesson for our next unit, which is all about multiplication and division. To help us introduce this idea, I want to start with this question: how many of these blue tiles would you need to buy in order to make this picture here? Now, the longest way to answer that question would be counting them one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But that would take a very long time. The next best way would be to count them by the rows. So I just found out that that first row has 9 in it. That would mean the next row also has 9, and 9, and 9, and so on. And then we could add those all up. 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, all the way down to the bottom. So I could use addition and just add the same number again and again until I got to the bottom. The fastest way, though, to do this is using multiplication. Multiplication is what we call repeated addition. Anytime you are looking at a problem and you notice I need to add the same number again and again and again, like we're doing here, the fastest way to solve that will be with multiplication. Instead of doing 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times, we can just do 12 times 9, because on this side there are 9 and on this side there are 12. And when I do that multiplication, it will tell me how many total blue squares there are in that picture. Now, in order to do this multiplication, anytime you have more than one number there, you have to multiply twice. So we start with 9 times the 2. That gives me 18. With 18, I put that last number here, and the first number, the 1 of 18, I carry up there. And then I multiply again. I can do 9 times 1, which is 9, and I add that number I carried to get 10. And so to answer this question, I know that there are 108 blue tiles. We'll be doing more multiplication like this in today's lesson. Now, the other idea we're talking about in this lesson is area. Area is the space inside a shape. You may hear the word area outside math class. For example, if you look at an apartment or a house, they might tell you the area of this apartment is 800 square feet. What that means is similar to this picture. It means there are 800 squares that are each a foot by a foot that fit in that apartment. And with area, because it's like you're trying to count up all of those squares, you use multiplication to find area. If I wanted to know the area of this picture, I would be doing the same math. I would be multiplying the two sides, 12 by 9. We see that multiplication with questions like these down here at the bottom. The question is, what is the area of this room? To find the area, I would use multiplication, and I would want to multiply the length, one side of the rectangle, by the width. So for this one down here, I would need to multiply that 29 feet by 12 feet to figure out how many of those square feet are in that room. Now, this multiplication problem is a little different than the one above because I have two numbers there in 12 that I will need to multiply. If you think you remember how to do this, go ahead, pause the video and try, and then come back to see how you did. So 29 times 12, it will start similar to our 9 times 12 up here, where we multiplied that 9 by 2 and the 9 by 1. So down here, I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing that 9 times 2, just like before, 18. And then I need to multiply the 2 with that 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then plus this 1 I carried to give me 5. The difference here is I've multiplied the 2. I also need to multiply that 1. So I'm going to do multiplication again. I need to do the 1 times 9 and the 1 times 2. Now, when you start that second number, you're going to start a second row down here. So I'm going to start with my 1 times 9, which is 9, and I'm going to write that 9 below the 1, below the number I'm multiplying with. So 1 times 9 is 9, that 9 will go here. That's going to be really important. And then finally, my 1 times 2 gives me that 2. Now notice I have a blank space here. Some people leave it empty. Some people also put a 0. You can choose what you prefer. The final part of this, to get our final answer, I need to add these two numbers up to figure out what that total is when you multiply 29 by 12. 8 plus 0 is 8. 5 plus 9 is 14. And 1 plus 2 is 3. So that area of this room would be 348. Now, similar to what we had mentioned earlier when I was talking about apartments and houses, you always measure area with something. So here in the picture, I can see we are using feet. You do not say area is 348 feet though. Area is always measured with square. So square feet, square miles, square yards, square meters, stuff like that. So here, because we were talking about feet, my area, which I'll call A, is going to be 348 square feet. In today's lesson, we're also going to be looking at questions about area, and the important thing to remember is to find area, you are always going to be multiplying the two sides of that rectangle. You are ready for today's lesson. Thanks so much for watching.